I'm Jay Horton. I make movies that make money. This is how. How much do indie films make through streaming? In this video, I'm going to share some rates for some of the bigger streamers for indies, at least a couple that I know about, and I'll give you my overall thoughts on the subject. So, how much can you make? Bear with me because this is a very complicated question because there is no set universal rate that is being paid by streamers. And on top of that, there are several different ways streaming platforms pay filmmakers, whether it be upfront licensing, back end revenue splits on rental and purchase, pay per view, which fluctuates platform to platform, and advertising based AVOD type pay. AVOD, this is where the advertisers placing ads on a movie will pay a rate based on the number of views a film gets, or more specifically, how many of the commercials are viewed. This is typically measured by something called CPM or RPM, which is cost or rate per mile, which is basically how much you get paid per, say, 1,000 views. And that rate is determined sometimes by the specific advertisers that are putting ads on your particular project. And it gets even harder to figure this kind of stuff out because most of the major platforms do not publicly share this data with anyone other than the distributors or organizations dealing with them directly. So unless you get that info directly from filmmakers or companies that have made sales, you'll have no idea how much somewhere like Netflix is paying to license films. And to the best of my knowledge, those licensing rates differ for every individual film. They basically license a film for a flat fee for a certain amount of time, like say $50,000 for a year. I'm just pulling that number out of my butt. And this license, it can be exclusive, where you can't place the movie anywhere else during that period, or it could be non-exclusive, where you can place it on other platforms. And usually you'll get more money for the exclusive deal and less money for the non-exclusive. Though I've heard, as far as indie films go, Netflix license agreements are dramatically lower than the $50,000 I mentioned above. And they're not really taking many independent films anyway. They are totally concentrating on original programming and working with producers and companies that they have a track record of working with. So getting a small independent film onto Netflix when you have no connection there is, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very difficult. So what about Amazon? Well, honestly, it doesn't matter much for newer movies that you're uploading yourself because they're not taking any more unsolicited features for Prime unless they are coming through a distributor or an aggregator. But for those with movies already up there, Amazon's rates are fairly transparent. They are still paying SVOD rates between 1 and 12 cents per hour, with over 60% of indie filmmakers making the 1 cent an hour. This is based on a film's CER or customer engagement ranking. I've spoken on this topic ad nauseum, and honestly, I'm tired of it. Check out my Amazon playlist here if you're in the dark about CER and want to learn more. Then, with their TVOD rental or purchase option, you can earn 50% of whatever your movie is renting or selling for. I've also done a ton of videos about the merits of SVOD versus TVOD. I'll leave a couple of links in the description. And now Amazon has added their very own AVOD arm, IMDb TV, which they very recently rebranded as Amazon Freevee. I don't know at this time what the CPM is there, but I have heard from a couple of distributors that it's higher than Tubi's, which averages between $7 and $9. The CPM, again, stands for cost per mile, basically what you earn dollar-wise per 1,000 views. So let's get to a real question here. What are indie films earning on some of these channels? Now, I could throw up some averages for what over 1,000 indie films have earned in 2021, but honestly, those averages are not going to help you much. For one thing, the numbers are all over the place for lower budgeted films. Some earn literally pennies for the year, while one on the list earned close to $500,000 this year. Another filmmaker here on YouTube, Movie Marketing Makeover, did a great breakdown of this, which I'll leave a link for in the description. So yeah, When someone asks how much their indie film could earn, my stock response is depends on the movie, anywhere from a few cents to $100,000 a month. And here's the rub, there's no real way to guarantee those higher numbers. Sure, make a better movie, pick a genre that's performing well in the market, etc. That can all help. But honestly, you can do everything right and still fail. And I know that's a hard thing to hear. Filmmakers want to believe. Hell, most of us need to believe that if we do good work, the cream will rise to the top. But in a market that is overflowing with content, that's just not the case anymore, if it ever was. So, my advice now, and this might seem counter to a lot of my other videos, make your movies for the love of the game, the passion. Now, keep all the business stuff in mind and do all you can to ensure some financial success. But at the end of the day, there is no surefire formula to succeed. So if you're gonna try to make a go of it as a professional filmmaker, make sure you love it because the odds of financial success are not with you. But if you're one of the few that really does, like really loves it, keep making movies.